Well, Paul was perfectly legal with his 3 on 8. Let's have a look at me. Well, I'm not underweight. No chance of me being disqualified in the BMW race.
Thanks, Roger. On to the final race for Group 1. So this is the faster group of 30 cars over the weekend. Fastest to the front, so the likes of Ashley Blewett, Matt Griffin, Brent Allen and Marty Irvine looking for the round win. Ashley Blewett's had a third and a win this weekend. Brent Allen has had a win and a fourth as we're on board with Kane Barry chasing down Tony Houston. Houston out of the Mini Challenge. Now contesting the Castrol BMW Race Driver Series in the E30s and the GJ Gardner Holmes car. Big lock up there as one's gone off to the left side. 17 Bruce Miller in there. So Kane Barry's had a pretty solid weekend. As we have a look at the replay, what happens here? Contact there, and is that Marty Irvine going around? Well, the defending number 1 having some issues in the final race of the weekend. So Irvine's got it back on track, but he's lost a whole heap of positions. Back on board with Kane Barry, running up inside the top 10. A little bit of rear bumper just hanging off the back of the number 17 of Bruce Miller. So Matt Griffin, he's had a win and an 8th. He'll be there or thereabouts as well for the round honours. Marty Irvine with a 2nd and a 5th. Ashley Blewett is your race leader. From Brent Allen, Griffin. Gerald Farber went through there in the 5th position. Mike Ashton was there as well. There's Craig Schuster. And the similarly coloured number 10 of Harvey Gray. There's the 80 of Keith Mitchell. And Irvine. So Irvine right back in the middle of the field. Kane Barry loses a spot to the 287 of Michael Clark. Regular face around the speedway tracks around New Zealand for many, many years. So Kane Barry looking for a solid top 10 in the points. Heading to the 2nd round of the championship at Manfield as part of the MG Classic weekend. 16 Dan Slater back on board with Kane Barry. So Ashley Blewett is your race leader. And if he can go 1-1-3, he would look to lead the points. Marty Irvine making the pass on Kane Barry. So Irvine working his way back through traffic. Craig Schuster running there side to side with another car, 23. There's Michael Boyle. There is young Richard Oxton. Son of New Zealand motor racing legend David Oxton. Richard, a very strong background in kart sport. That's the former Daniel Kent, number 81 from the last couple of seasons. Kane Barry chases down the reigning BMW E30 champion, Marty Irvine. There's Griffin going through, Ashton, Gerald Farber, Dan Slater, Bruce Miller, Michael Clark, Marty Irvine just in behind. So Irvine back inside the top 10, but he's got a lot of work to do. He'd probably need a safety car to get towards these guys, Ashley Blewett and Brent Allen. Now Brent Allen trailing the exhaust. Well, he's got to be careful there. He doesn't get the attention of the stewards. A mechanical flag as we're back on board with Kane Barry. Down through turn number 1. Notorious turn number 1 here at Hampton Downs. So Brent Allen's just set the fastest lap of the race at a 1:22.361. There's extra bonus points, of course, for fastest laps through the races. Battles further back, 63 Grant McPhee and the 8 of Grant Schubert. The top 30 in points for the weekend based off the results over groups 1 and 2. The 2nd group of cars still to come out for their final race of the weekend. Back on board with Kane Barry. Just on the top 10. 42 Daniel Rollison, there's Schuster. Williams going through and the number 7. Keith Mitchell there in the silver and red number 80. But it's Ashley Blewett going to celebrate the victory, and he'll take out the round honours for the E30s from Brent Allen and Matt Griffin. 1, 2 and 3, Blewett, Allen and Griffin. Mike Ashton in 4th, Gerald Farber in 5th, followed by Marty Irvine, salvaged a 6th place finish after that off earlier on in the race from Daniel Slater and Bruce Miller.
Ashley, it's been a great day for you, 2 from 2.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic weekend overall, really. Only just managed to get that one in the middle there. Brent definitely caught up to me in the middle of the race and definitely had a fight on my hands, but came away with it in the end.
Had a pretty good race. Ashley's definitely had the pace on, and we sent her pull away from 3rd place a fair bit, but put my nose up a few times with Ashley and couldn't quite pull off the manoeuvre, but overall it was a good race.
Matt, 3rd place, couldn't quite get to the front 2.
Nah, I got an awesome start and managed to hold out Marty, but then obviously couldn't quite catch Brent and Ash, so it was a good race, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So on to the final race. This is the second group of 30 cars that didn't make the top 30 for the final. So these cars effectively battling for 31st, 32nd position and back for the weekend. Such as the entry list of 60 cars for the E30s here this weekend at Hampton Downs. They're not struggling for numbers. 18 new drivers here this weekend back on board with Anthony Munns in the number 3. So this really could be anyone's race. Here's the 29 of Greg Dutton making his return to the series after a big off at Manfield last season. Greg has a lot to do with the Rollo's Marine business in Hamilton and water ski racing. It's pretty high on the agenda for the Dutton family. So there'll be lots of new names out there in this one. Lots of traffic in the opening laps. '21 there is John Lovitch, another young karter. So many of these young drivers I've seen come up through the kart sport ranks at the Mount Wellington Kart Club. Car number 316 is Jeff Story. 47 there, flashing through, Philip Smurthwaite. There's a couple of team cars, 31 and 34. 31 is Graham McDonald. And the 34 is Russell Sinclair. 9, Ross Gardner. So there's battles all over the place here at the moment for the final race at Hampton Downs for a wonderful weekend under beautiful sunny skies on Sunday for the Castrol BMW Race Driver Series in the E30 class. 38, Russell Benshaw in the key 2. BMW. So it looked like David Farmer and John Blewett were disputing the lead out in front, on board with Anthony Munns. Yeah, he's working his way towards the front. So John Blewett in the leading group of 3 cars. In fact, there he is the race leader. Pretty sure John had at least a couple of race wins last season in the E30s. But he's under pressure there from David Farmer in the number 75. Russell Benshaw in the 3rd spot, and I think Anthony Munns, our onboard camera car, is now up into the 4th position. He's 1st, 2nd and 3rd down to the hairpin, and there is our onboard camera car, Anthony Munns. 79 Charles Dodds just in behind him in the Red Stag number 79 BMW. Problems there for Gardner in the 9. He's parked it up on the side of the track, and he's not going any further in this one. And as you can just hear him saying there, it died. As we've got a new race leader, David Farmer, now through to the front ahead of John Blewett, with Benshaw still back there in 3rd. New colours by the looks of it for Benshaw, a little bit more orange on the car. Still in 4th is Anthony Munns, 5th Charles Dodds. Inside the 10, the likes of Glenn Hitchcock, Jeff Story, Tony Richardson and Andrew Armstrong. Richard Batchelor there in the 101. So they're all battling just inside the top 10. This is a neat sequence of corners out of turn number 2. Lots of nice flow setting the run up to the right-hander before you run up the hill down towards the hairpin. As the last lap board goes out, David Farmer. One more lap to negotiate around Hampton Downs to take the final race win of the weekend ahead of John Blewett. Blewett led the early laps and has set the fastest lap at a 1:24.268. Anthony Munn's pretty much by himself back there in the 4th position. About a second behind him should be Charles Dodds in the number 79. Blewett having one last lunge. David Farmer looking for the victory as they go past the stranded number 9 of Ross Gardner. So David Farmer in the GT, Carter's tyres, number 75. He'll take the final race win for the E30s. Ahead of a fast-closing John Blewett, Russell Benshaw will cross the line in 3rd. Here's our 4th place car, and carrying our onboard camera, Anthony Munns for a 4th place finish. Close on the line, just in behind, Charles Dodds holding off Glenn Hitchcock. So David Farmer takes out the final race from John Blewett, Russell Benshaw, Anthony Munns, Charles Dodds, Glenn Hitchcock, Jeff Story and Tony Richardson.
David, after 3 seasons, you've finally seen the checkered flag. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, finally we got there. Had a bit of a rough weekend. I had a poor qualifying and spun around in the first race, which set me way back. But very good to have a win. It was a real battle out there with John. I think he missed a gear on one of the corners. Other than that, he was very hard to beat. It was a very good race, very close.
John, it's been a really good weekend for the Blewett family. First of all, your son won the previous race. You nearly got there.
Yeah, it was. It's been a really great weekend. I really enjoyed it, and Ash had a brilliant weekend. Despite the weather yesterday, it's all come together for us. So yeah, no, it's been great.
So Ashley Blewett leads the points, 583 from Brent Allen, second on 568. Matt Griffin third on 516 from Marty Irvine, Gerald Farber and Dan Slater.